Deadliest Warriors is in its second series in the US and has come to the UK on Bravo. The series pits warriors of different time periods against each other, and using technology analyses how effective their weapons were and who would have won if the warriors ever met in battle. This is Mark Langdon talking to Jeff Desmoulin, who is the biomedical engineer on the show and joint presenter. Jeff, can you tell me how you originally became involved in the series?
I have a black belt in Ishinru Karate.
Yeah.
I've done blast research before. I'm a biomedical engineer. Half my time is spent doing injury analysis, so it's a really good fit for the show.
Yes.
And you know, when they first contacted me about it, I was a little bit skeptical, I have to admit, but I had an immediate draw to the concept. I mean, the pilot episode was Spartan versus Ninja.
Yes.
And I immediately brought a smile to my face. I'm like, this is going to hit. It immediately excited me. You just got that positive feeling about it. And I had had conversations like that with my friends, you know, and of course the environment starts to play roles, and you know, is the ninja going to attack at night, or is the Spartan going to have, you know, the advantage of daylight? How is his armor going to play into it? But what about the ninjas, you know, throwing darts and poison darts and things of this nature, and all of his elusive type of weapons? And so it's a tank versus someone who evades a tank, and so it's kind of an apples and oranges comparison, but very interesting nonetheless. And so I think my most favorite part of it is I get to excite kids and excite people about engineering and science. And my most favorite people being contacted by are teachers. I get a lot of teachers asking me to come give presentations at gymnasiums and things like this, and they actually use the show as a launching pad for discussions in science, in engineering, and in history, and even geography, because they'll look at parts of the world, they'll learn about the geography and history of parts of the world where that particular warrior was from. And I just thought, now that is a teacher who is going places and who is making teaching and learning fun, and that's really what we need to bring back to the classroom. So I'm so happy to be a part of that.
And do you also look at, because obviously over time people have got bigger and bigger, and you know, the height of people back sort of long time ago was they were a lot smaller. Is that taken into account as well? It
is actually. Our computer whiz Max Geiger, who runs the simulation 1,000 times to determine who would win, we have a health component to the warrior in the simulation. And so if someone like the Viking, who was known to be a larger warrior compared to, say, something like the samurai, we would give him larger health points, so to speak. And another similar comparison is the gladiator versus Apache. We had the gladiator with far more health points than the Apache. And in fact, the gladiator ate a lot of high-fat foods in order to gain a layer of fat above the muscle, and that was the idea there, was that he could get cut but keep on going. That was the idea. It was a form of protection.
Okay. And what sort of technologies do you actually use to sort of work everything out?
Okay, well, we use companies like MicroStrain, their wireless accelerometers, their wireless orientation sensors. So using their accelerometers, I can put it on a known mass of a target and we'll get the impact force. If I know the overall area of the impact of that weapon, some weapons are made to be, you know, blunt force weapons. Others are meant to increase the pressure, so things with spikes on it and things like that, we can calculate the pressure off that weapon, and then go to the literature and see what kind of damage that would have done.
Okay guys, this is 400 pounds of real beef. You punch this, it's just like punching a human body. You've got the ribs, you've got the muscle, you've got the soft tissue. You break a rib, you break a human's rib. Let's see what you're going to do here with that. 3, 2, 1, go! Yeah! Go, go, go! Wow. Without even feeling, I can tell you, just by appearance, these are all broken ribs. You've cut this cow almost in half with your fist.
we can use a gel torso, and our gel torsos, depending on what reference you use, between 10 and 20% 250 bloom gelatin, which mimics both the viscosity and the density of the average human tissue. So the props guys that we have putting our gel torsos together will actually put blood-filled organs inside the gel torso. They'll put bone simulants, brain simulants, things like that. So when we get a warrior to impact that torso with a weapon, to simulate what would happen in a real fight, the injuries that we're seeing are very close to real life. Other things that we do, like I say, the orientation sensor, I'll strap onto the handle of a weapon, so we'll get the impact velocity, because I can track the orientation of the weapon, multiply out to the impact point, and get a velocity at the impact point, things like that. And then we can relate it to things that people on television would understand, say a drop from a height. So, for example, so an impact with a baseball bat might be equivalent to falling from a 3-story building, for example, things like that. And so we try to take real numbers, but then also relate it, to things that not only engineers can understand. And other equipment I used was Diadem from National Instruments in order to visualize the data. I used a lot of their scripts in Diadem to help me speed up the process of the data analysis. Their basic math functions, so I'd integrate an acceleration resultant signal and to get the velocity. I used that to test the hand speed of the UFC fighter Chuck Liddell, which was really cool. It was probably a highlight of the show right there.
This thing here is a 3-dimensional accelerometer. So when you punch, wham, that's what we're going to see. And I can use those numbers to determine the lethality of that punch.
Cool, that's sick.
First, Jeff measures the speed of Chuck's punch.
2, 1, go! Yeah! Take a look at this, man. You're off the charts.
Other pieces of equipment, we have thermocouples that we took to measure the temperature off of dummies that were inside a car when a Molotov cocktail got thrown in there by the Mafia warriors. What are some other ones? Oh, TechScan pressure mat system. So when we had the Taiaha from the Maori warrior, we strapped the TechScan flat sensor onto the bob, and then the Maori warrior with the Taiaha in his hand would strike down on the mat, and we could measure a pressure and again go to the literature and see what kind of injury that would have caused. So that's the kind of equipment we would use.
And as far as the weapons are concerned, what are you actually using? Are you using weapons that you've recreated, or are you using, existing weapons? Or
yeah, to save time, if we couldn't find it online, we had armorers that would make it period as possible. So we would try to get the original materials and make it in a similar way that they would have in that warrior class period. So yeah, the armorers were fantastic, and some of the weapons we could not find online were Shaka Zulu's weapons. So the Inkwa, the Awisa, the War Club, Shaka Zulu's War Club, things of that nature. And so these guys would, set it up, and I'm telling you, Shaka Zulu experts that came in actually wanted to purchase them after the show because they were so good. They were sold on it, yeah.